Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us here for another edition of our 10 Weather Impact Show. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on our Monday afternoon, and we are talking about a 10 Weather Impact Alert because we have some storms arriving later on this evening and into the early part of tonight. Right now, watching those storms developing to our north and west up around the Chicago area into parts of Wisconsin and Michigan right now, and they're going to be moving towards the south and southeast. And there is still a little bit of uncertainty into exactly where they're going to be heading, if they'll make it all the way here into central Ohio, or if they stay a little bit further to our west. So let's go ahead and dive into the forecast as we break things down here with that 10 weather impact alert for the storms again arriving later on this evening, mainly after about 8 p.m. And there is that potential that a few of them could be severe, but not everyone's going to see the storms and not everyone's going to have to deal with any severe weather here as we go through today. But talk about the overall severe weather outlook here, and you'll notice the orange, that's the focus for a lot of the severe weather right now, focused to our west, and that's going to be over parts of Indiana. Right now we got storms around Chicago, and they're diving towards the south and east and making their way this way, but there are some indications that they're going to start to dive a little bit more south of southeast, and that's going to take them further down into Indiana, possibly into southwestern Ohio. But there is still a chance that some of us will have to deal with some stronger thunderstorms as we get later into this evening and for tonight. So we do have that level 2 risk here in central and parts of southern Ohio as we go through this evening and for the overnight hours. So here's a look at the radar right now, just showing a few light sprinkles making their way here and really falling apart this afternoon. Meanwhile, you look to the north and west and you can see this complex of thunderstorms developing there right around the southern part of Chicago. Severe thunderstorm warnings and even tornado warnings in effect for those areas. Zooming up there, large complex of showers and storms that's really centered over Lake Michigan right now up to just south of Green Bay. So we got two different areas. One, this northern extent kind of diving straight south, and this other one that's moving a little bit to the south and east. And all this is going to really congeal together and continue towards the south and southeast, eventually making its way towards Indiana and potentially here into Ohio as well. So watching that closely, watching the trends, because there again is still some uncertainty exactly where the storms are going to track. If they start to dive more south, we may actually miss out on a lot of that activity, and hopefully so. We don't never want to have to deal with severe weather, but it is something we're tracking here as we go into tonight. Meanwhile, let's talk about the overall pattern here. We have the jet stream moving out across the Pacific Northwest all the way to the north and then coming back to the south and right over there. So the storms are riding along the jet stream, and that's going to be the basically the track for where these storms are going to be heading as we head into this evening, tonight, and then eventually those kick out of here, and we're looking at some quieter weather as we go through the rest of the week. What's also happening with the jet stream is it's moving over the Pacific Northwest right where we have several wildfires burning. This is a look at the visible satellite from yesterday evening. All of this right here, that's all smoke. There are a lot of large fires burning, and all this is getting pumped up into the atmosphere, and basically the jet stream is bringing it across the Midwest, and that's what we have to worry about here as we go through the next couple of days, at least with some hazy skies. There may not be any large impacts on air quality, at least locally. A lot of this is going to be that upper level smoke making the hazy skies. Not so much here at the ground to cause us problems with air quality, but it will be something we'll watch as we could see some more smoke building back in and looking ahead to tomorrow. And as long as the fires continue to burn and the jet stream stays where it's at, we may have to deal with some more smoke as we continue on through the week. Some of the more thicker smokes may stay just to our west, but it will be something we'll watch here as we continue on. Meanwhile, rain chances after the storms tonight into early tomorrow, dropping off here for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then we'll see some chances as we look ahead to Saturday and Sunday, but at least for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, things are looking really nice, especially considering the Ohio State Fair kicking off on Wednesday. We'll get sunshine and lower humidity and temperatures in the lower to middle 80s. So really some nice conditions here for the rest of the week. So here's a look at the hour-by-hour forecast playing this out, and this is one computer projection. A lot of them, they're still kind of all over the place, really, and it's that's why we have this uncertainty. But we are watching the storms building to the north and west. And then as we get later into this evening, we're going to watch some of that activity moving into Ohio here by 10 p.m. and then moving through parts of the area 11, midnight, and then really clearing out of Ohio as we get closer to about 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Could still see a couple showers or storms, likely non-severe as we get into early tomorrow morning. So we will have to watch some of that activity, but by 9-10 o'clock in the morning on your Tuesday, really looking quiet, and we'll have some sunshine here with temperatures a little bit cooler here as we go through the day. Calling for a high right around 84 degrees. Again, 10 weather impact alert here tonight into early tomorrow, and the rest of our Tuesday looking good. And then by Wednesday and Thursday, we're tracking sunshine, temperatures into the lower 80s, so a little bit cooler than normal and lower humidity, so it actually will feel nice to be outside. And not even just the high temperatures, but notice the lows down into the lower 60s. We could actually see some upper 50s in the forecast here by Thursday morning and again Friday morning. So that's a sign of some cooler temperatures, lower humidity, more pleasant conditions in the forecast here for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But then we are tracking yet some more chances for showers and storms as we head towards the weekend. Right now, chances are low, 30 to 40%, but it is something we'll have to watch here as we get into the weekend, and of course watching what's going to happen for the next 12 hours with that complex of showers and storms off to our north and west. So that's going to be, again, the focus here for this evening and tonight. But as we move on from our forecast, we want to take a closer look at the dangerous heat impacting the United States. First up, did you know that the heat we're feeling now could actually create issues when it comes to Christmas time? In Iowa, Christmas tree farmers are working in the summer heat to shape and water thousands of trees while facing drought conditions. For Christmas tree growers, the countdown is already on. It takes a lot to get the trees ready for the holidays, with much of the work happening right now.
It takes about 7 years to get a tree from seedling to the 6 to 7 foot mark. A lot of that's dependent on the rain and the water and the growing conditions. We had a lot of new growth that popped on the ones that we had just planted, and then the dry spell kicked in, and they're definitely starting to show signs that they're struggling. A lot of the little babies are turning colors on us.
And the holiday season may still be months away, but Christmas tree growers are already inching toward crunch time. And speaking of the heat, it's a good time to remind you about our Beat the Heat fan drive. Remember, when temperatures actually get a little bit hot this summer, you can help a neighbor stay safe. Join 10 TV, 97.1 The Fan, and Life Care Alliance for our annual Beat the Heat fan drive. You can drop off a new box fan at any Franklin County fire station or make a donation through Life Care Alliance. Every donation helps keep someone cool. Text the word FAN, F-A-N, to 614-460-3345 to find out how to donate. We'll send that information right to your phone, and together we can help beat the heat this summer. And sticking with the heat, the Energy Department issued an emergency order in 17 states to try to prevent blackouts from happening. The order directs the Southwest Power Pool, where central states get their power, to take steps to help keep the electricity flowing and reduce strain on the energy grid. The order is expected to end next Monday, August 3rd. And the heat isn't just impacting people, but insects as well, and it could put the bumblebee at risk. Its thick coat helps it thrive in colder weather, but that fuzz can be a burden when temperatures soar. Scientists say if you find a bumblebee struggling in the heat, there's a simple way to give it a boost.
Just some sugar that you'd use on breakfast cereal and a bit of water to dissolve it, and then hold that in front of the bee, and if it sticks its proboscis out and drinks from it, that will give it the energy to carry on with what it was doing before.
And experts say stick with sugar, water, and skip the honey, since it can spread viruses between bees. And letting parts of your yard grow wild can give the pollinators more food during hot, dry weather. And the hot weather is also contributing to the water crisis out west. Regions now facing a moment of reckoning that could affect the entire country. Nearly half the country's vegetables and most fruit and nuts come from California. Many farmers there rely on water from the Colorado River, but a warming climate has led to less snowpack and less snowmelt feeding the river. Communities in multiple states could now face federally mandated water cuts, leading to higher costs for farmers and higher food prices for the country.
California and other lower basin states have cut Colorado use by nearly 20% since 2015. Upper basin states have gone in the opposite direction. In the last year alone, they've increased their use over the same period.
Lake Mead and Lake Powell, the nation's two largest reservoirs, have fallen to their lowest combined levels on record, both less than 30% full. And as the Southwest is dealing with this heat wave, when it gets this hot, groups like the Salvation Army try to help. Lillian Donahue spent some time with the Salvation Army's mobile hydration team as it fanned into the communities to help people.
Have ice cold water for anybody who's in need.
An extreme heat warning is the go signal.
Extreme heat is the #1 weather-related killer in the country.
For the Salvation Army's mobile hydration unit to take to Phoenix streets.
If we save one life, it's all worth it, because we know how brutal the Arizona heat is.
For 6 hours, meeting people where they're at.
I mean, it's greatly appreciated.
Braving the blistering temperatures.
Sometimes it's too hot to get in and go get water and stuff like that. So by them coming around and bringing it to you, it's like, yeah, it's a convenience.
Armed with more than just H2O.
We have sunscreen, we have electrolytes, some hygiene and heat relief kits.
How many of these bottles of water have you guys been able to give out so far during extreme heat warnings this year?
So since May 1, the Salvation Army has given out over 100,000 bottles of water during its heat relief efforts in Arizona, and helped more than 55,000 Arizonans in need with heat relief.
This work goes beyond bottles of water. Heat outreach is a touch point to get people the help they need to not spend any more summers outside.
We may be able to help in the long term as well.
This team has been activating during heat warnings for years. They tell me, though, people patterns have changed, with more unhoused folks spread out rather than in large encampments.
Now we're everywhere.
Those living out here said this especially after the cleanup and disbursement of the zone in 2023.
Where they gonna go? All these people that live here, where they gonna go now that the zone's closed?
For the Salvation Army, what's a few more miles if it means keeping someone alive?
This is working, and we're hoping that we can just save as many lives as we can.
And the other major weather story around the globe continues to be the numerous fires that are out of control. Here's the latest on what we know this afternoon. Massive wildfires overseas have forced about 300,000 people to leave their homes in Spain and France. More than 2,500 firefighters are battling to stop the spread of France's largest fire this year, and that's threatening the wine city of Bordeaux. Not far from there, a Tennessee woman is trapped in her vacation home with her 2 children.
Where I am, this enormous forest that takes 45 minutes to drive through to get to the airport, and then the airport, and the entire enormous forest is on fire, and there's only one road that goes through the forest. There's only one road, and that road is on fire.
And Rebecca Papon says she had earplugs in overnight and missed the evacuation order. Last month was Western Europe's hottest June ever recorded, and European scientists say the heat and drought fueled these destructive fires. Many fires are also burning back here stateside. A series of wildfires known as the Roe Creek Complex fire surpassed 200,000 acres Sunday in Central Oregon. A red flag advisory remained in effect for strong winds, extreme temperatures, and low humidity levels. Crews said the worst conditions Saturday were found on the southern edge of the fires, but conditions were ripe Sunday for possible extreme fire behavior along U.S. Route 26. Evacuation orders and warnings remained in effect for areas in parts of Oregon. A total of 1,292 personnel were assigned, including 78 engines and 22 dozers to actually help with some of the wildfire battling there out in Oregon. And just to the north, the Canyon fire actually burned over 120,000 acres. And this is actually in parts of Washington state, according to information provided on Sunday. Crews continue to provide structure and values protection. Agencies hope for expected cooler temperatures and calmer winds would help firefighters increase containment, which was the last reported at 9%. Investigators believe it began with a lightning strike back on July 16th. And while those fires are out west, there are some closer here to the East Coast as well happening today. Bullitt County fire officials said response teams will be out battling a wildfire outside of Savannah, Georgia. Stephanie Atkinson has that report.
Several counties have sent their fire crews out to help the Bullitt County Fire Department as well as the Georgia Forestry Commission to fight this fire. As you can see right behind me here, some of those hot spots are still smoldering, but fire crews are out here working to keep those contained, dropping water from the sky from helicopters and using their tractors to overturn those hot spotted dirt areas.
The fire within probably half an acre of my front door.
Embers still lingering just north of Highway 80 in Bullitt County.
We're not out of the woods yet. It's still dry.
Multiple agencies working through the night, Friday into Saturday, keeping those containment lines intact.
We checked the whole fire with a helicopter. The lines look good. The engines are putting in a lot of work.
The Georgia Forestry Commission fire response team says 7 engines and 7 tractors are working to keep any hot spots under control and reinforce the containment lines.
We'll be monitoring this fire till we get measurable rainfall.
Amy Grace, a Bullitt County resident, says she's living her worst nightmare after her family decided to leave their house behind and her late mother's heirlooms.
I don't have the capacity to compute the heaviness, and everything I have of her is in that house.
75% of the fire remains under containment. 389 acres have burned.
It was smoky enough that the visibility was bad trying to get out of there.
Brown remains positive in their approach.
I'm proud of this team and what they've accomplished on this fire already.
The Forestry Commission asked everyone to avoid flying drone and don't burn anything until the area receives some rainfall.
Flying drones, if a drone's in the air, then our aircraft can't be. So we have to ground our stuff if a drone's flown, a personal drone. So please keep them out of this area so we can do what we need to do.
The Georgia Forestry Commission says there's a number of things that could have sparked the fire originally, but a cause has yet to be determined. Investigators are expected to come out on Monday and pinpoint what maybe started that fire. In Bullitt County, Stephanie Atkinson, WTOC News.
And now we want to check out some new video into us here at 10 TV. And first up, a dramatic animal rescue just west of Cleveland. Police in Avon shared this video showing 2 officers helping an owl. The owl became tightly entangled in a soccer net. Using quick teamwork, the officers carefully freed the animal, allowing it to fly away completely unharmed. I'm glad they were there to take care of that owl and let it get back to enjoying its time out there. And next up, we're sticking with our animal friends. Petco today announced the launch of its latest Halloween collection alongside additional own brands, innovation, and national brands newness, offering over 300 festive must-haves across owned and national brands. The epic Petco Ween drop help pet families prepare for the spooky festivities alongside their pets, with items starting at $3 and most actually priced under $20. So pretty good deal as you want to gear up for the Halloween season there with Petco and dress up your pets in a fun costume. And one more item today before we go. This weekend were our regional Emmy Awards, and 10 TV had some winners. 10 TV meteorologist and producer of the show won Best Weather Anchor, taking home his 3rd Emmy and first solo award. Reporter Kevin Landers won for his story on the Matthew Hoffman murders. And reporter Lacey Chris won for a story on family legacy of eye-dotting at Ohio Stadium. This is a clip of her interview after getting the win. Many of our team traveled to Louisville, Kentucky Saturday night, and our own Tracy Townsend served on the Board of Governors and worked backstage live interviewing this year's winners from our social media stream. Congratulations to our 10 TV News team who won the 2026 Ohio Valley Emmy Awards. And again, congratulations to meteorologist Michael Behrens producing this 10 Weather Impact show. A great win with him there at the Emmys over the weekend. And as we talk about our forecast here one more time, again, we are tracking those storms later on this evening into tonight. We'll have more updates coming up on that later on this afternoon for our 4, 5, and 6 o'clock broadcasts. As we're tracking those storms and also some wildfire smoke, you can always catch more news and weather online at 10tv.com.